Hey there, everybody. We're doing our expert series here, and we are with Patrick Gallaher from Cislo Title. These guys do a great job for me. But one of the things I run into with sellers and buyers is what is title insurance? What do we need? Why is this happening? And a lot of times I feel like they have to fight against the flow here when really it's a service to them. So, Pat, you graciously said you would talk to me about it, and so let's just where the rubber hits the road here. What is title insurance?
Well, Jonathan, like you and your customers, I get that same question as well. A lot of people don't understand, friends of mine, things like that. In the simplest terms, I would describe title insurance as homeowner's insurance, which covers your home, your dwelling, and your contents. Title insurance covers the land that it sits on, the boundaries, encroachments, things of that nature. Who has an interest in your land or in your property, not necessarily your house. It's completely separate. Um, are there any liens out there? Do you have any mortgages out there? Anybody who can, make a claim to any property is basically what we search for prior to doing a closing and generating a commitment, which is ultimately what we do in a policy.
Awesome. Okay, so I think what I'm hearing you say is that you are ensuring that the person who is the person purchasing the home, and then of course the seller, against somebody making a claim that might cause you to lose that property. Would that be correct?
That could be accurate, absolutely.
Or
yes.
a lien on the property and cost you some money.
Absolutely, yes. And liens come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, really, whether it's mortgage, if the bank has any kind of an interest in your property. A interest that has not been released or taken care of, say somebody was entitled, and unfortunately they passed away or what have you, unless there's a death certificate or something like that of record, or they died in the property, or the property county, we would have no record of that. So that looks at like a straight interest out there on on the title.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we got an overview, what's going on, but why is it needed? What is the service here? This is something that happens with most real estate transactions. So
Yes. The ultimate goal here is to provide your buyer with clear title, is what it is. Nobody can come back and say, hey, they have an interest in the property. When they go to sell it, there won't be any hiccups in their title.
Okay.
Ultimately, yes.
And then when you guys do title insurance, my understanding is it's required by the mortgage company.
Correct.
And why would they want to do that?
So we can guarantee them first lien position.
Okay.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about. So should the buyer, for some unknown reason, go into default or what have you, the mortgage wants a clear path to recoup the property and recoup any money that they can out of that they've lent out.
All right, and that's lien, not L-E-A-N, which sometimes my spelling is off, but lien.
L-I-E-N.
L-I-E-N.
Yes.
Lien, yes, okay. Well, and that brings up a good point, because the mortgage, company wants first rights, but other entities can try to lien your property, right?
They certainly can.
And part of your guys' process, in my experience, is to figure that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
who else might try to make a claim on the property?
Oh, really anybody could that feels that they have a claim, as long as it's somewhat founded. If there is a lack in tax payments, like in your yearly taxes, the government can lien your property. They can put a state or a federal tax lien on your property. If
Don't do that.
don't do that.
Pay your taxes,
Please.
please.
Please, yes.
Come on, you're helping the greater good.
That's right.
It's fine.
Yes, our roads. Also, if you lose a settlement in court, if you default on a credit card or something like that, there's a court order called a lis pendens or something like that they can, or judgment lien that they can file on your property as well, to go after payment. Yes. Now, some of these liens are dated. I mean, some of them expire after 5 or 10 years or what have you. But it is an encumbrance on your title.
Sure. Well, and then if you go as a seller and do improvements on your house, being that I was in construction, you, as a contractor, if you don't get paid, you also have an opportunity to lien the property.
Absolutely.
That's
yes,
correct, right?
Yes, you can file a mechanics lien on the property as well.
Okay, so when you guys help a seller and help a buyer, you are taking a look, making sure all of those things are either addressed or non-existent, which is the goal, right?
Right.
And then that gives the seller and the buyer the utmost confidence that they have clear title,
Yes.
right? That they own that, it's theirs, and no one else can make a claim.
That is correct, yes. And we have to go by whatever is recorded. We don't know what has happened behind the scenes or anything like that. So if anybody claims they have a lien on there, even though it's not recorded, we do have to look into it simply because it's out there, just to see if anything has happened. But ultimately, all we have to go off of are documents that are recorded against the property, yes. And that's done through the legal description as opposed to necessarily an address. So.
Okay, so that brings up something I'm interested in. I had a client last year that you guys helped me with, and his name was Robert Brown.
Okay.
He'll probably be watching this. Love you, Bob. And Kristen. But with a common name like that, one of the things we ran into was there was several things that popped up.
Sure.
That had his name but weren't associated with him.
Yes.
And one of the great things I thought you guys were able to do, because this is part of your process, was you helped us get rid of that stuff. You helped us, make sure that, hey, yeah, okay, we this came up, but if you get us the right documents, we can help get these things, off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and that was awesome. I really appreciated it.
Sure.
Help.
Yeah. And the best way to do that is with these liens, they usually file them against the taxpayer's last four of their social security number. So what we'll do is we'll ask for the last four or last six of the social security number so we can basically, map it against these, weed them out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. All right, so we've covered wire fraud, covered some closing, covered some pre-closing. We closed, and now you have this title insurance. I have it in a giant folder. It's under my pillow. No, it's under my bed, and I've never really looked at it since. But in the rare case that somebody shows up at your door or notifies you that they have some sort of claim on the property you purchased, what should you do?
Okay, well, first of all, we're hoping that you never have to look at
Right,
it.
exactly.
So there's that. If somebody does knock on your door and says, hey, they have a claim or what have you, what we can do is we can go back just to make sure. And if somebody does file a claim or something like that, a lot of times it would have to do with boundaries of the land or legal description itself or what have you.
Okay.
Again, how we get those legal descriptions is one of two ways. We get it off of the tax rolls, which describes the land that you are paying your taxes on,
Okay.
and also what has been deeded to you. They aren't necessarily the same all the time. We run that quite often.
Oh, really?
Yes, so that could open you up for a potential claim. So what we do on our commitment is we make sure that doesn't happen after we get to, prior to getting to closing. But sometimes in the rare occurrence, it does happen. In that case, what we'll do is we'll do some research. We'll either search the neighbor's property to see if something had happened on their end. When we do a closing, we only search our property, obviously.
Right.
Unless there's something that looks funny, then we'll search neighboring properties to find out what happened. Did this person, get deeded too much, some of my land, or was it not enough or something like that? So we will definitely do research if something comes up after the fact. There is also items that can happen in what's called the gap period. Whenever we generate a commitment, especially in Genesee County, they have an effective date, which is their guarantee that everything has been recorded prior to this date. A lot of times it's 2 months prior to today's date. So right now we could get an effective date from, say, Genesee County of November 17th. They're guaranteeing everything up until November 17th. Well, we're closing February 17th.
Right.
So there's 3 months that items and documents could be recorded that may not be of record yet, or they'll be of record, but they may not be available on some of our various sites that we use to check that.
Okay.
So yes, a mortgage could get recorded in that period of time. So that would not give our lender first lien position.
Right.
Um,
So then
things
you,
are- yeah.
you guys, you start researching, and then with the insurance and whatever, you're going to bat for the people involved?
That is correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, so,
Yeah,
and-
there
and
is
you're
gap
gonna-
coverage.
And you're gonna help them clear that out?
We will,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Oh,
yes.
okay, perfect.
Most of the post-closing questions or items that we get are actually happen this time of year. A lot of people have closed on their home and they're doing their taxes and they cannot find their paperwork.
Oh.
So a lot of times they're, can you send me a closing statement and my, my sales docs and things like that. So we do get pretty busy between January and April 15th with that. So.
All right, well, that's
Yeah.
good, and you guys hold those records?
We do. We're required, I believe, to hold them for 7 to 10 years.
Awesome.
And we hold them electronically, so it's very easy to get it to a customer that should need it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we hold our records for the same amount of time as well. So, if you ever run into that, contact your agent, contact your title company, and they're going to take care of you, right? So that's why we're here.
Yes.
So, is there anything else you'd like to add to this, overview regarding title insurance, why we do it, what it does, that kind of stuff?
I guess if there was one thing that I could add, it's just hire an agent, please. Hire an
Wow.
agent. Yes.
Thank
They
you.
know
That
what
was
they're talking
unprovoked.
No, it really was, but believe me, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. This has been great. We actually already started talking about some other ways we might be able to provide some information going forward, so I look forward to that. Cislo Title has been awesome. I can't thank them enough for the service they've provided for my clients. Even when I've had some difficult fish, they have just calmly taken care of it. We've gotten through it. We've worked through it. So Cislo Title is great. If you have any questions about title, they're here for you. If you have any questions about selling real estate, buying real estate, or even title, I'm here for you. So we're gonna wrap this up for today. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you taking a look at this. And be good to your neighbor. We're all neighbors. Have a great day.